All right. Welcome, folks. Curteroni here from GameOctane. I have the pleasure of kind of hosting this evening. We've got Allie and Matt, so we'll give them a second to introduce themselves. Who wants to go first?
Hi, I'm Allie. I can't stop playing Zelda, so this is the podcast for me. But I'm excited to. I'm really excited to talk about this. I've got a lot of feelings about it, so it'll be good.
And I'm Matt, so I guess I'm here to counteract her excitement with all my criticism, because that's the type of person I am. So,
and I guess I'm playing middle of the ground. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I've loved every single game I've played, although some more than others. So let's get started. Since the theme's Zelda tonight, obviously we're going to talk about the brand new Breath of the Wild. We've had it in our hands for 13 days as of today. So Jason, a few less if you watched his unboxing, but
that was great.
Gotta love our fearless leader.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so what I've kind of come up with was a few talking points that we kind of went over a little bit ahead of time, but we wanted to keep all of our reactions and real conversations for you guys. So what we're going to start with is probably the most, I don't want to say unique, but definitely the first thing everybody notices about Breath of the Wild, which is its visuals. So let's start with our point. Allie, chime in on those visuals.
Oh, they're really good. They're great. That did not properly convey my excitement. I think this game is gorgeous. I should count how many screenshots I've racked up on my Switch of just like Link standing on a cliff and looking in the sunset, and it's great. I'm kind of like stunned at how gorgeous they've managed to make this game. I think like the weather, the lighting, it all came together really nicely to make a very natural, and I couldn't be more pleased. And then the visuals of the combat, the way the way that Link runs is an improvement on the last game for sure. But I can't think of anything bad to say here.
Wow.
Counterpoint, Matt.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it looks nice. It looks real nice. It's a pretty game. It's definitely not what I would consider current gen, but that's okay, because I mean that's Nintendo. Nintendo's never been, like the graphical powerhouse. It looks good. How do I want to say this? But it also looks extremely dated, I think. But it's that art style. It's that anime type. Mm-hmm. I don't know, weeaboo art style they go for or whatever, I guess, with Zelda. I think the animations usually are good. I think you said Link's running. I can't stand that. He is so floaty. He feels like a little Big Planet character. Like he has no weight to him, which I don't understand. I don't know. I can't reflect the Guardian's laser beam with my shield. So that makes me mad, but that's more of just, I guess that's not how it looks. That's just the animation to me sucks. So, but I mean, yeah, I think the game looks great. I think that it does have some technical slowdown when you get to big open fields and stuff like that. I think it looks great for a Zelda game, I guess.
All right. Okay, so here's me in the middle road. I think it's a beautiful Zelda game. I think they nailed visuals. I said even in the trailers that we reviewed when we did our E3 podcast that I loved the art direction. It's definitely done on purpose. But in that very same breath, I do want to say that maybe it was done on purpose that way because they were running an underpowered system. And so that they might have been, their hand was forced upon them. So
Would you play
But,
though,
yeah.
like a Skyrim, looking Zelda, like with that? Because to me, that would I'd be like, I don't want to play another, open world realistic game. I mean,
Yeah, no, I totally see your point, and as I'm saying this, yeah, I think they picked a perfect art direction. It was in our little first impressions. It was a good mix between the cartoony anime, or like hardcore anime, and then the kind of realistic things that they were shooting for when they did Twilight Princess, and so like it was a good mix between. You definitely felt like a fantastical world that when you'd open up a book, you'd be able to imagine in your mind, and that's kind of the way I thought they executed it really well. As far as Link's running, I'm kind of in between the two. I think he looks good as he's running, but if he's running across the grass, the way it kind of separates makes it look like he's on a hovercraft.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I mean,
grass shouldn't separate like that as you run through it. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. So I see both points. Like, yeah, he is running pretty good as long as the grass isn't too tall. But once the grass gets up there, you're like, what's going on underneath Link to make the grass like go like that?
He has like a breeze under his feet or something. He's like crop dusting Hyrule. But
yeah.
So like I totally see that, and I don't know if you guys have put on all of the Sheikah armor and ran at night, but it's like creepy how fast he moves.
Don't you run like Naruto though? Like you throw your arms back and like.
Oh, yeah, I wish that would be awesome.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
No, it's just like extra fast speed, like the running he does. But I'm just thinking, because in Skyward Sword, he was like so stiff and like kind of bouncing up and down, and his arms were like stiffly moving next to him. And I think that's what I was just comparing it to that last new game that we had, and I thought it was a huge improvement. And I mean, because that's what you're staring at the whole time you're playing. So I think that's why I wanted to mention it. It's a huge part of the visuals, and I think it's an improvement, at least on their last game.
Yeah. I agree. Right there in the middle. Thanks, Switzerland Kurt. As far as Zelda's concerned in this particular instance. All right. Matt, you mentioned when we were talking about visuals not being able to reflect the Guardian's eye beam. And I think that really plays well into, leads us into a gameplay discussion.
Yeah. I set that up for you. You like how that works? No.
Yeah,
totally on purpose.
Segues.
Yeah, I mean, the gameplay, I think, again, just kind of like the visuals. It's one of those where, like, it's good gameplay. It's not anything new. It's not anything revolutionary. I think it's the first Zelda that takes a lot of, like, Western design choices. And I think as an I don't know, I don't want to call it, Japanese developer, like taking those Western design choices and not being like, well, we're just going to do it the way we've always done it. I think that's a huge plus for Zelda because, I mean, someone like me who absolutely can't stand Zelda, and I think it's one of the worst series ever. I mean, strike me down now, I know, Allie, but like, I just, I can't stand it. And I think it's because it's always like recycled, it feels like. And I think with this, the gameplay is just totally new. And I think that's exciting. Just everything about it, just the horses and the combat, I think is really fluid. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about combat separately, but just the way the combat works, I think works really well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add or.
No, I think I'm there with you on it. They really went away from the formulaic Zelda that we've been playing since Christ, Link to the Past. I think. I think the gameplay, probably the closest title we have to Breath of the Wild in comparison is probably the original Zelda.
Yeah.
And that was because there was a lack of buttons. Now we've got all these buttons and we're using all of them. We're not just button mashing A to hack and slash. And so the gameplay is dramatically different. And I think in a really good way too. But I guess I'll get to this in my overall, but because of the dramatic change in gameplay and like the the lack of all the different crazy tools or devices that are kind of a Zelda staple. It almost doesn't feel like a Zelda game,
Like,
which could be good for some and bad for others. But
excuse me. What I think was really neat, and I know this is just kind of like off topic, but kind of on top of gameplay, is like when you get like a boomerang, like you can find a boomerang in the wild or whatever, or like throwing weapons like that come back to you. So yeah, a boomerang. But like when you throw it, you have to like hit A when it comes back to catch it. And like I think that's like stuff like that is just like super neat to me. Like that, this those little things, because it's like, you know, in normal games you just throw the boomerang, it comes back, your guy catches it. But like this, like I was standing on top of a mountain and I threw it and I totally didn't catch it. And I was like, well, I gotta climb down this whole mountain now and find the boomerang. And like that was like 20 minutes of my life I spent doing that. And like usually it would suck, but for some reason I had a lot of fun doing that, just because it's like the gameplay of it is just so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Emergent and immersive and organic. It just kind of like makes itself like, there's not a ton of stuff to do, not a ton of quests or side quests, but like everything that you do just kind of like happens. And it's, I think that's why this game is so good, is just because like the gameplay of it is just so emergent, which isn't in like a lot of other open world games like Skyrim or Fallout. It's all scripted and kind of boring and cliche.
Yeah, I keep seeing, not to butt out Allie out of the conversation, but I just
You're good.
I keep watching videos and things on YouTube and all these, you know, these game reviewers, and they keep talking about the game doesn't hold your hand, and it is truly like an open world, but they took a different approach to it, and we'll get to a little bit some of the aspects of that. But let's hear from Allie about the gameplay.
I really agree. The gameplay is extremely immersive. The way that it plays, like there are times that it feels like a Zelda game, and there are times that it just doesn't. But I actually, surprisingly shocking from me, but I definitely actually don't count that against it. I think it's very refreshing to have something new and very exciting and really completely immersive. I think I caught myself kind of early-ish on in the game, but I needed some rupees to buy some clothes or something like that, and I didn't go out and chop grass. I just didn't even think of that, which is, I mean, in a Zelda game, traditionally that's like your primary source of money almost. It's just long grass in the field. But in this game, it's like they've made this entire this immersive world that I'm like, no, I need to go find materials. I need to go hunt down a camp of bokoblins and get their horns and sell them. Like, I just threw out the concept of something like that whimsical grass cutting, and I don't know. It's like it's a small little thing, but to me that makes the game just so immersive that all the gameplay is just very instinctual. And I mean, as far as this imagination world goes, like it's pretty realistic, like within the world, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm vomiting words.
No, yeah. Like, for me, one of the biggest things I think is like, and I think I wrote this a little bit in like my first impressions, is like it brings me back to like when I played Ocarina of Time, because I was like, I don't know how young I was at the time, because I don't even know when that game came out, but I was a kid, you know. I played on my N64, and I remember like sitting on my floor in front of the TV and just running around, and like when it would become night, fight the skeletons, and like I had no idea what to do. I didn't know how to play that game at all. I didn't even know, like I never got past the first dungeon until I got older, you know what I mean? Like, so like, but that was fun to me. Like I would just do that for hours, just like run around and find horses and do all this crazy stuff, and that's what I enjoyed. And like it was just that like that gameplay that I kind of made up in my own head, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over to that hill and figure out what's over there. And I think that's lacking in games nowadays. Like like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, that game is the total opposite of I think what Zelda does right. I won't get into that right now, but like so Zelda, like, you know, you make up your own story, like I was kind of saying, and it kind of brings you back to that, like, you know, sitting in front of your TV, like playing something, and you just want to kind of like, this hours just slip off the clock because you're just so engrossed in like every little thing that's going on. And that's what I think it does well. I mean, it makes me feel like that kid, you know. It makes me have that excitement for games again, which I haven't had in a long time for games. So I mean, that's
for sure. And they did such a great job of like fostering that curiosity in every player. I actually admittedly was very worried about how much I'd really like this game, because in the past, a really open world game would lose my interest so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love like Fallout 3 and Skyrim and all those games, I enjoy playing them, but after a number of hours, I'm just like, there's too much to do, so I don't want to figure out what's going on, and I don't want to go over that mountain. It's tedious, but that has not been an issue for even a moment with this Zelda game. And sometimes I wonder, is it because it's called Zelda and I just want to play it because it's Zelda? But I mean, I find myself, I usually have a very strict bedtime, and I've been breaking that every single day since the game came out, because oh my gosh, no, I need to find this shrine, and what's over that mountain, and I want to climb that tree and ride that bear, and like there's so much to interact with and so much to do, but somehow it's not a bad thing, even for those who traditionally aren't very interested in open world games. And I think it's pretty awesome that Nintendo could pull that off, at least for me.
Yeah, one thing that is really cool about this particular interpretation of an open world game is the use of the map and the kind of the HUD compass. It doesn't automatically put points on your map for you to like run to, so you're not you don't feel like you're just running from point A to point B like you would in like a Grand Theft Auto or even a Skyrim or any Bethesda RPG. And they have their own strengths as well. And we can talk about that when we talk about difficulty and some of the game mechanics. But just the organic way that the open world plays out, like you're 99% likely to run into an enemy that you can't beat, and you need to get over yourself and run away, otherwise you die over and over and over again. Like, I was playing earlier today, and I ran into one of those giant, fat goblin things. I can't remember what it was, like a Hokin or something. I can't remember what it's called.
A Hinox. I think.
Sure.
I ran into one of those, and like while I was like, I wonder if I can fight this guy, and I like shoot an arrow at him because he's on the other side of a lake, and so I land an arrow, and he like comes lumbering over, and I'm like, man, he has a really big health bar. I should probably like run around him and kind of stuff. And anyways, I ran into I don't know what the enemies, but he's a centaur, and he like shoots ice arrows at me, and I'm like, oh great, now I'm getting frozen and getting sat on by the Hinox, and so I like run away further, and the centaur starts shooting arrows like straight up in the air. I am super far away. He's like a tiny little guy I can barely see him in like the draw distance that's on the Wii U. And like these ice arrows are just raining on top of me, and I'm like, what the crap? And I'm like, no. So
just for clarification, so did you say you're playing on the Wii U?
I am playing on the Wii U.
Okay, and then I assume you're playing on the Switch, right?
Oh, you better believe it.
Okay, yeah,
always at all times.
Awesome. Okay, I just want to make sure we were all on the same page. Okay.
Yep.
So, but here's one thing that I did find that was kind of tweaky in the gameplay, and it might just be a Wii U experience as opposed to the Switch. I know that you guys on the Switch, you guys can kind of like do like your major aiming with the stick, and then you can kind of fine tune with the motion sensor on the inside, right? For like fine tuning stuff. That's not in the Wii U version. Like have to nail it on the sticks. And I was trying to hit something really far away.
Fine. That's fine. I turn off all motion controls, so I don't want any motion. If there's a motion control, I don't want to do it. Like it's.
Oh my gosh, I rely on those motion controls. I am shit at aiming with just the sticks. I have to have them on to like really fine tune. Are you sure that's not at least a setting on the Wii U? Because they had that on Wind Waker HD.
Right,
That's
they
weird that
did,
they wouldn't
and
put that on the new one.
maybe I have to go into the settings a little deeper to figure it out. But like, I was trying to hit something really far away, and and it might just be the analog sticks on the Wii U compared to what they've got as far as Jason in the house.
What's up? Finally made it.
So we're talking some gameplay a little bit, and
Okay.
anyway, so I'm trying to fine tune with this analog stick, and it like bumps me too far to the left, and then I bump it once, and it bumps me too far to the right, and then like this analog stick wasn't sensitive enough for me to fine tune the long shot. So
Oh my gosh, that's
I
awful.
have to just get good. Like that might be the problem. Just get good, man. Come on.
well, it was really far away, so
Nonsense.
I don't know. Anyways,
And you're playing off the gamepad controller, or are you using a pro controller, or
it's it's the big Wii,
okay,
the gamepad.
okay.
And one of the things that because I just did the Wind Waker like flashback review, one thing that was really cool is like you had the screen pad and you could like equip all your items and stuff just with the touch screen and like have a little like HUD there. When you're playing on the gamepad, it's like touch the screen and it brings like the game to your screen, or like touch it and send it back to the TV. And there's not like any cross play between which is, I guess, makes sense because like you're not using two screens on the Switch, so they didn't want to add that functionality for their old technology. But I don't know, it was kind of cool in the previous game.
Yeah. I did really like that about Wind Waker. But I understand them not doing that on the Switch at least. But I mean, at least they gave us that kind of quick flipping between your weapons and your shields, what have you. Because I swear, if I had to pause the game to change my sword every fucking time, I would be so mad. I would have rage quit long ago.
Yeah, I agree.
On that point, though, that stupid switching, like I don't like how I can't switch the arrows I'm using until I draw an arrow.
Yep,
so I have to
agree.
draw the arrow to switch the arrow. Then Link has to redraw an arrow. So like, I have to pull back a normal arrow. And oh no, wait, I want a bomb arrow. It's like, dude, let me just switch before. I don't know. It's just that part's annoying to me. Those little fiddly things like that.
Stuff like that. I start like if I'm going into like a den full of guardians, I'll go to my like the pause menu and equip my guardian arrows or whatever. But yeah, if you're just running in and something just happens, it really kind of sucks. I wish there's a better way to do that, but not sure that there is.
So having a perfect segue right into weapon degradation. This is a huge mechanic that was added into this game. And I want to go first on this. I think it's kind of cool, but I hate it at the same time. Like, I'm so torn on this particular issue with I think I finally get a decent weapon and I'm like, yes, and then it lasts nowhere near long enough, and then I'm like, so I start stockpiling weapons, and then I'm like, ooh, I found a really new one, but now I've got to drop something, and I'm like, I don't have enough spaces. And it's like a really, I don't know. It's really, it's super bugs me.
Yeah.
I have no opinion on it yet. But
one of my biggest problems is I get like emotionally attached to some of my weapons because they're really awesome, but then it gets that one hit where it's like, oh no, this is badly damaged. And I'm like, oh no. And so I let it sit in my inventory with the blinking red square. I don't want it to blink red, but I don't want to break it. I don't want to drop it. It just sits there taking up space because I just can't let it go. It's so, I wish I could repair my weapons.
Yeah,
I would pay so much money to repair.
You can.
You can only repair the champion weapons, though.
No, like, okay, like, I don't know if this is spoiler. I don't know. Like, you throw them at those guys that jump out of the water or whatever, and like, are like the
Octoroks?
Yeah, the one, and you throw them in the mouth of the dude, and then he spits it out. It's supposed to be like full durability.
What?
That's what I was told. And like,
I know it doesn't
it's
have
on
rusty
YouTube.
weapons.
So you have to aim and throw it into some bitch's mouth.
That's what I was
hate
told.
those.
I could be totally wrong.
I
Yeah,
know
you
it works
should
with the
throw
rusty
it.
weapons.
Let me
If
know
you
how
toss
it
the
does.
rusty weapon at the Octorok when he like is sucking it in, he'll
I might be
spit
totally
out like
wrong. I don't know.
he'll spit out a regular like unrusty weapon with better durability and better damage. But as for repairing stuff that's broken, I don't know. It would make sense that mechanic would, if it's fixing rusty weapons, it should fix your your almost busted stuff.
I'll have to try that tonight because that'd be a blessing. But I don't know.
All
man.
my swords are breaking. Where are the Octoroks? Ah!
I think the weapon durability adds some difficulty to the game, like much needed difficulty to the game. I like that it's there, but I kind of agree with you guys where it's super annoying because like I'll be like, oh, I got this cool fire sword or lightning sword or whatever, and I'll be running around and be like, oh, it's gonna break. I was like, I'll put it away. Like I'll save these last 2 hits for something else, and then what happens is I just keep holding on to it for like 2 more hours, and then I just don't use it, and I'm just like, but then I don't want to get rid of it because it's cool and like I don't know, but I just kind of look at this stuff now as like garbage, so I just throw everything away when it's done. I'm just like I don't even care anymore. Like
I kind of wish that what do you call it? I kind of wish there was like a hardcore Zelda mode on top of just like a normal mode and have those options added into it. I think it'd be because I literally don't have time to play as much as I used to, and if I have to keep finding a goddamn weapon every 10 minutes or everything breaks or stuff like that, I think it doesn't ruin the experience for me, but I just wish there was like a, I guess, easy mode where you can just run and just not have to worry about shit breaking all the time. I know that kind of takes away from the whole point of Breath of the Wild, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be an update in the future and I'll be able to feel better about myself.
Yeah, it definitely.
You go ahead.
Allie.
I was just gonna. I mean, as much as I'm bitching about loving my weapons too much, I kind of have to agree with you guys also that it kind of adds to the game though. I mean, a good challenge is always welcome in the world of Zelda because if we're honest, none of the games have ever been super hard before. But it adds that challenge. It makes you search for new weapons. I think it's kind of fun, but I really loved my demon carver that I stole from the Yiga clan, and it broke.
And you broke it. And you broke it.
That was sad. I did break it.
It's gone.
It sat blinking red for a very long time. Then I finally just got frustrated, threw it at a wall, and it broke. But
you didn't even throw it for the extra damage.
Nope.
You just like if I can't have this, no one can.
I loved you.
Damn you all.
But I do love the challenge that it brings. I can't be too mad.
Yeah. Let's go right into the difficulty of the game. I mean, we've kind of already been talking about it with the weapon degradation. It definitely adds to the challenge. You got more things to manage, and but I will say that I have never died so many times in a Zelda game.
I've never been one hit so many goddamn times in any game.
Yeah.
You're playing the wrong games.
It's ridiculous. Like I'm getting my ass kicked over and over again, and I'm like, okay, I gotta finish this game. It's fucking pissing me off. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna shoot an arrow at him. Oh wait, I don't have any fucking arrows. Cool.
Wait, can I go off on a
go
tangent
make
real
this
fast about
batch
the
of hot
arrows?
peppers, and I'm gonna eat something. Maybe they'll do something. No, it's
Dude,
I've never died so many times.
I want to move my camera. Like I want to show. I was like, I'm never gonna buy amiibos. Amiibos are stupid. And I climbed this mountain the other day, and I was up at the top of the mountain, and I was like, oh, I need to shoot this thing. I don't want to say what you got to shoot, but you got to shoot this thing. And I didn't have any arrows. And I was like,
oh, I think I know what you're talking
dude,
about.
I'm going to go buy that amiibo that's supposed to give you arrows. And then the next day I went to GameStop and they had a sale on amiibos, and I bought like I don't know, 20 amiibos because I was like, well, they're on sale and they give me crap in Zelda, So I want to say Nintendo's an asshole for making amiibos give you stuff because like now every day I'll log in just to get my crap and like my food and my weapons or whatever. I'm like, oh, let's get all this stuff in there, and I was like, I'm just so mad because like it upsets me, but it's cool. Like it's cool. It's a cool feature. It just damn, they really got me with that. Like,
all right, Jason, what does Little Mac give you in Breath of the Wild?
You know what? I don't think I've touched Little Mac.
All right,
because I had it on my desk, but I went down the line and I like got all the Yoshis and like the 30-year-old or the 30th anniversary Marios and stuff. And I think I just got food. I didn't get any weapons. that I can remember. But I was also not clear on where I had to put the amiibo. I guess you had to put it on the joystick, which was weird. I was like, why the fuck is it on the joystick? And and then the picture looked like it was, and I was like, oh, well, it's on the joystick. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I got a shit ton of food and stuff. But speaking of amiibo, I guess like the speedrunners are loving it because if you use the horse amiibo, you just spawn a horse, and people are beating the game in less than an hour now.
Oh my god!
They have a way to get off the plateau. They grab the horse, they drop the horse, and they just keep running, and they can beat it in less than an hour, which just blows my mind. But
they just like ride into town like Sheriff Bart and just toss a candygram at Ganon.
Yeah, a lot of like actual runners are like, no, that's cheating. Like you're not really playing the game. I'm like, well, Nintendo's allowing it, but I feel like it's kind of cheating if you want to do the full like speed running type of thing. But I read that was like less than an hour. Like they have a way to get off the rock without finishing everything. Hop on the horse and just haul ass. I didn't look at the whole run, but yeah, I guess they're doing it in less than an hour now.
How the hell are they going up against Ganon? Is that what they're considering finishing? Is just beating Ganon in that first hour? Because how are they doing?
I don't know. I'm sure it's fucking.
I had to use very expensive and advanced equipment that used so many materials. I mean, maybe I just suck, but
I don't understand. While you guys are talking.
But
kind of back to the.
I think that blows my mind. But
so you've beat Zelda, so you beat the game.
I've beat the main quest. Okay, I'm less than halfway as far as like actual full completion of doing everything, but I have beat the main quest. Yes.
Okay. I don't know, man.
I have a screenshot that says defeat Ganon complete.
Nice.
I have no I'm not even close to that. Doing the main quest like at all. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that's.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we want to talk about the game story, but like. I'll say that for later. You go ahead with your point. I don't.
No, I've been full on distracted by the world and trying to figure out what's going on. I guess I'm kind of trying to get to the story. Like I'm like, okay, I need to get way up there. Well, what do I run into? And like I climb to the top of a mountain and I need arrows, right? I need one particular arrow, and I'm like, I'm out of arrows, so let me go. Travel back down to a shrine, buy some arrows, and then hike my way all the way back up that frosty mountain. Oh yeah, by the way, I gotta cook all the food to keep myself warm. I think that element is really cool. The RPG, like you gotta eat spicy food to stay warm. I think we should talk about that for a second, like the cooking element and how that and your armor, how much it plays into the activities that you're doing. I think that would be really cool. What are some of the kinds of things that you guys have run into as far as?
Well, I'm all about the outfits. I think they're awesome. I love that you get like extra boosts if you have the complete set on. There was for a while before I beat Ganon finally at the end. So, spoiler alert, Ganon's at the end.
Ganon? No.
But I mean, before I even got to that point, I mean, yes, I beat the main quest. It's taken me about 60 hours just to get to that point because I also was getting distracted. I've just put like an ungodly amount of time into this for a woman who works more than full time and does extracurriculars as well. But I mean, I wanted
extracurriculars as in Zelda,
martial arts and Zelda. But I needed lots of rupees to get some special gear that I wanted to have to fight Ganon. So I was like, okay, how do I get lots of rupees? So I went to the Elden region. I found the Gut Check Rock and Gut Check Challenge. And so I'm like, oh, well, to climb fast, I need the climbing gear. So I'm like, okay, how do I get the climbing gear? I had to find some shrines. Then I'm like, oh, I need to upgrade my climbing gear. I need tons of materials, find the fairy fountains. It like sets off this huge chain of events to where I'm like, there's no way I can fight Ganon until I have this outfit really nice. And it was like, and even along the way,
I'm all dressed up and know where to go.
Right.
Oh yeah, and then on the way, like the little shrine radar starts beeping. I'm like, ooh, shrine, and then I just start talking to people with a little red bubble above them, and I'm like, well, I might as well just do that now. It took me a long time to beat that main quest because I was getting distracted, and it was awesome. and it was fun. And and I've spent many hours cooking. I have like 3 or more pages of food all the time. I think it's so fun. I love it. I love all the distractions.
Yeah.
Distractions is a great word for it. I was talking to one of my buddies who's been playing this, and he's like, why'd you have to make a bunch of food to get in the cold in the first area? He's all, didn't you know you can find armor? I was like, wait, what? So I guess I don't want to spoil anything, but I guess there's a way to get like frost armor like right off the bat in the beginning of the game. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to find that shit. Like, I'm trying to get the main story quest done. I want to get the game done. But like you, I'm like, oh, these guys are talking about like the treasure, like when you first get to the horse stable. I was like, these motherfuckers want 100 goddamn rupees. I have 5. Like, how the fuck am I gonna get this? So I'm like, oh, I can sell shit. I'm like, man, it's getting way more intense than I really wanted. I just wanted to enjoy myself, have myself a Zelda game, but now I'm like, this is gonna take like 100 hours to play this game.
Oh no, I was like, I'm gonna have to stay up way past my bedtime to get that side quest done.
Oh god, yeah. And my kid's been sick, so I've been lucky to be like, oh, I'll go to sleep, and I'll just sit there and play for a little bit. He'll get up, and I'll calm him down. I'll sit there and keep playing. Then I realize it's like 1 in the morning. I'm like, well, it sucks. About that.
Okay, so we've mentioned shrines. I kind of want to draw a comparison between shrines and dungeons from previous games. What are your guys' thoughts on shrines and dungeons?
Go ahead, Ali. You can go first.
Thank goodness that there's like 120 some odd shrines, because
wait, there's 120 of those fucking things?
I believe
Something
so.
like that.
Let's kill myself now or later. Jesus.
But thank goodness there's a lot of them, because the puzzles were some of my absolute favorite things about Zelda, and I love the dungeons in Breath of the Wild, but there are not enough of them. Not even close to enough of them. So at least there's 120 fucking shrines to keep me occupied, like mentally. Like I think they're really fun. I think some of them are they're too easy, but I guess not everyone loves puzzles at all at all corners of the game, but I think they're awesome. I think the shrine quests are like extra awesome because it's a different puzzle. Like you have to really be creative and resourceful with those shrine quests, and I think they did a great job on it. It's almost like the whole map is a dungeon.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that, like, that's one of the things that I completed one shrine. I had to climb to the top of the mountain and needed my arrows, and then when I completed that and like I got to go to a shrine and they're like, you've already proven your worth, and I'm like, oh, the entire world is a dungeon. Got it. Got it. That's cool, but at the same time I'm like, is that what I wanted? Is that what I was expecting? No, but do I like it? Yes. But yeah. So go ahead, man.
What I really like is the shrines don't have one way to solve them. Like there's not one way to solve a shrine. Like there's like the electricity puzzles. Like one day I was like I don't know how to get this one door open. I was like, screw it. I just started throwing down like metal swords and just made a line of metal swords to just like where I need to go. Or like I hate the motion shrines, like the motion controller shrines. But there's this one, I don't know, you've probably done it, but like you have to like move the ball through like all these little gates, and like it's like one of those like things that you get at Walmart where you try to move like the like, yeah, like I don't know. It's if you just turn the controller over it turns the whole thing over, and then it's just a flat surface. And I was like, oh, okay, and I'll just move the ball and I just tossed it. And it was like,
that's
how
I did it too.
Yeah.
I was like,
damn it.
20 minutes.
I'm taking notes because I'm nowhere near as far as you guys are.
Got it.
Like 20 minutes. I was getting pissed. I was like, oh my God. My wife's like, it's fine. You'll get it. And like, finally, I just, like,
it's
turned
okay,
it over.
Man. Shut up. It's not okay.
Yeah, we almost got a divorce. It was amazing.
So no, I was actually really curious. I was like, I wonder if they're going to be able to do this on the Switch. Because like if you're playing it and you're looking at that screen, you ain't flipping that controller over so you can like control it upside down unless you're like, oh, I'm upside down, and I'm like, got it. But
and there's one of them where I literally just turned the controller backwards. I just held it backwards. I was like, oh my God, this makes it so much easier. And just like every little shrine, there's probably like, I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but there's probably like 10 different ways you can solve every shrine almost. Like, it's insane. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I've done like 10 shrines. Like, I'm not that far in the game as everyone else. But I kind of like the idea, but I'm hoping they don't get repetitive. It sounds like it doesn't. Like, there's quests and other crap you got to deal with. At least the part I'm at right now feels like they're all tutorials right now. Like, hey, this is how you should be doing this. Like, thanks. If you would have taught me how to fucking dodge 6 hours ago, this would have been amazing. Otherwise, I would have died 30 million times. Thanks, guys. But no, I think it's a cool element. I think having the radar helps out a lot. So you're not just running blind like, oh, if I was a developer, I would put one at the top of the mountain to be a dick. Well, matter of fact, there is one up there. And luckily, it's telling you kind of what direction to go. The one thing that kind of, I don't know, weirded me out was the whole tower thing, which I guess it kind of makes sense. But it's kind of really like Assassin's Creed-y, where you have to climb towers and get to the top and survey the area, and then, hey, the whole world's unlocked. You can see everything now. Like,
that's
I think there could have been a better way to do that rather than kind of copy. But other than that, I think it was pretty good. But yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna hit some more shrines soon.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go for it.
Cut you off, but like, that's one thing about the towers that like I was worried about, because when I was like, oh god, it's gonna be one of those games where you climb a tower and you find all the shrines. But like that's what I like, is like it doesn't show you where anything really is on the map except like where a stable is maybe or something. Like, it doesn't show you where like. Yeah,
I did like that. It didn't just unlock all the icons. Yeah. Like, you still had to look around and see what was out there. I did enjoy that. I'll admit to that. That was fun.
But yeah, some of the towers do, like, there's a tower and you're climbing up it and there's like things shooting at you and I'm like, I just want to climb the fucking tower. Like, let me just get off this tower. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fight anybody in Zelda half the time. I just run from every fight because I don't want to break my weapon. They don't give me anything I need. I was like, just leave me alone. Like. But yeah, so that's probably just a problem I'm having.
Yeah, that's actually something I really liked about the towers is, I mean, the shrines don't feel repetitive, except maybe like the major test of strength. Every time I get one of those, I'm just like, fuck. But with the towers, they're not as repetitive as you'd think. Like you were saying, there's one of them, you're climbing up and just there's stuff trying to attack you there's a couple, but like even the towers are there are a couple that almost felt like their own dungeon just to get up the fucking tower. It was... and I was like screaming the whole time and so frustrated, but then I got to the top and it was very, very satisfying. And then, that piece of the map is unlocked and it was really awesome. And I think they even, as frustrating as it got at times, I think it was in the end a very good decision, because then I'm not just like, ugh, another tower, climb the tower, throw the slate and think the map. It's actually really fun the whole time. I really liked it.
I haven't gone as far as you, so right now things are kind of repetitive until I'm out of the tutorial mode. I think that's what I'm still in, because I'm like, oh, shiny, and I'm like, let's go find this out. Like,
yeah, once you leave the plateau, I think that's kind of when the tutorial ends, and then they're like, you got to figure the rest out on your own.
Yeah, they're like, all right, slap you in the ass and get on in there. Go.
Right, get to
so
work.
Go find them damn cuckoos and shit, and then go. Of course, one had to be on the goddamn roof, which I couldn't find because it had to be goddamn raining. It took me like an hour to find that son of a bitch. But, those are fun, though. I can't complain about those quests. Those are fun. They're a nice little like deviation from the
classic throwbacks. Like, go find the chickens and put them in the coop.
Oh, I wanted to throw them in the water so bad, just drown them.
Chicken meat. Cookie.
Put it in the pot.
I know this is kind of off the topic of shrines, but like those, I don't know what they're called. Those like kokuru little things that you find, the seeds.
Oh yeah, those are
the
wild.
Korok seeds.
Yeah, those are so cool, because like one day I was just messing around. I'm just like rolling this ball down a hill, and it like hits something. And it's like, oh, you unlock this dude, and I was like, what? Like, that's like you get rewarded for doing like the stupidest little things, and they just
putting an apple in like a putting an apple at the little shrine.
Yeah,
you're like, oh. There's 4, and there's one missing. I'll just take one of my apples and set it there. Oh, I got a seed. Now I'm going to take all the apples.
Yeah, you put it all down and swoop. Totally my apples.
My problem is I did that totally opposite, where I took them all, and then I was like, wait a second. And then I put 5 in. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
I'm the asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I just want to ask them real quick. So how are you guys gaining money? Like, what's the quickest way you guys have found to...
No fucking clue.
To earn rupees, because I am at a goddamn loss right now where I'm at. Besides stealing apples and then selling them for like fucking three rupees a piece.
Yeah. I'm broke
I
all
have
the
a
time.
number of methods.
God.
It kind of depends on what I'm in the mood
She
for.
wears
Of which
she puts Link in the fancy dress and stands him on the corner.
Oh my god.
I'd pick them out if I could.
no, there's a lot of if just as you're exploring, you'll find there are places that have like little mini games, like a shield surfing and like climbing this a cliff and collecting rupees as you go, and there's all sorts of ways to do that. But then I think in the end, my favorite is just going to the Elden region and climbing around the mountains there and just hacking away at all the ore. There's so much ore over there. Then you can just cross your fingers for some diamond and topaz, you know. But
Yeah, I'm not
I
that
guess,
far.
yeah. Well, when you get there, it's a good time.
if I get there. I get my ass kicked so bad, I'm like, God, I gotta get some more armor. I'm like, oh, I'm at the first village. I can buy armor. What the fuck? This shit's hella expensive. I ain't got no money for that.
Oh,
That's
just
why I
wait.
got my ass kicked about 100 more times.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? Like, what do you guys think about the way? I know Jason's not this far, but how do you think the progression of the story, the format? Like, one of the things that's really like you don't go to a dungeon and get more of the story, and like the characters kind of bring you. Like, you have to go find how the story goes, and like you've only got tiny little clues that you're trying to figure out as you discover the world. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I love it. I know not everyone feels the same way, but I actually really like it. I was curious of how they would do it in an open world game, because I know of course I was obsessed and read every interview and watched every video and what have you before the game came out, and they were like, we thought of a really cool way to give you the story, because you could just pass the story completely, you might not, it's up to you, but we figured it out, it's kind of cool. And I was very curious, but I actually really like their execution. Thank goodness I can go back and watch the memories that I find, but I really liked it. I actually had fun kind of trying to piece together the clues, and it made me explore more of the world than I may have so early on in the game. And I really liked it. I think the story itself is very interesting as well. I won't say anything about the details, don't worry. But it wasn't as much story as I wanted, but I think that they actually did a pretty good job with what they had.
I enjoyed the memories thing or whatever. I really, the thing is that like when I got that, like I was like, I'm gonna get these all, and that's what I spent like my first 10 hours doing, is just finding every single memory. Like I didn't do anything else until I filled that thing up, and like I was like, I need these all before I can move forward, and like that was like my favorite part of the game. Like that was like my most of my experience playing it. And then like after that, I think is when the story drops off, and I'm just like, what do I do? Because the dungeons all suck really bad. Like they're just, to me, they're just absolutely no fun. I just think they're boring, and like it's like the same thing each time, like the 4 big dungeons or whatever. And the story just, to me, kind of just falls off after you get all the memories. Like it's just, I have no intentions to do anything in the game. And it's like, I just wish they would have like had like kind of that trail of breadcrumbs to make me want to keep doing things. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not attached to like these characters, because I don't like Zelda that much. So it's like, I'm not really attached to these. Like, I don't really care about saving the princess. Like, I don't care about killing Ganon, because I don't fucking care. Like, make me care, like, don't just bank on, the 20, 25 years or whatever of Zelda. Just don't be like, oh, well, they're going to want to do this because it's Zelda. Like, I don't know. Even the memories, though, were kind of, yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah. No, okay. I thought I heard a pause, so I went. But compared to other Zelda games, I think this is one of the ones that I wanted to save the princess the very most. This one and Skyward Sword are the two where Zelda was the most involved.
Is that saying a lot, though? Like, because has Zelda's story ever been anything but subpar? Like,
no.
No, yeah, like I don't mean
It's
that's
the
wrong.
I'm not trying to sound shitty, but like,
well, no, and I'll admit, like in the past, a lot of the games, it's like you're playing and you're, oh cool, I'm Link, and oh, this bad guy's at this castle, let me go over there and see who's there, and then it's like, hi, I'm Zelda, oh no, he's bad, oh no, save me.
yeah,
and it's like, okay, like even even fangirl can admit, the story has not been super strong in past games. I think Skyward Sword did a little bit better by giving you kind of that backstory with her, but I think at the very least, like this game, it makes you feel for her, I think, and at the very least you kind of feel bad, like you want to help her out. But I think I'm trying not to say too much about it, but
I just wanted to play
compared
as
to
her.
other Zelda games. Oh, I know. That would be so
I
much
think
fun.
honestly that would just turn it on its head if you woke up and you're like, I'm Zelda. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like they advertise it as Link, but like Link you unlock later or something. That would have been like total Metal Gear Solid 2, showing Solid Snake then playing as Raiden. Like that would have been so epic to me, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually, I'd be pretty stoked on it. I said, I'm not too far in the story, and I kind of like the way it's going at the moment. At the points I'm at right now, I think that kind of agree with Matt. Like sometimes it doesn't make me feel like I'm all that part of the story, but I don't think I've even gotten any memories yet. So that's probably why I suck, and I really have no word and say in this whole thing. But but yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going for sure.
I got a question for all three of you, and especially Allie because she's gotten further in the game. Because typically, and I'll admit it too, even as a Zelda fan, that the games are really shallow. And I mean, it's like go here, go there, and you got to do it in a certain order because you need certain items to progress in the places and so on and so forth. And that's the way it's been very formulaic since, like we mentioned earlier, Link to the Past. But in this one, a giant diversion from the norm is the voice acting.
So bad.
Major characters are voiced for the very first time in a Zelda. Do you think you felt more for Zelda this time because she was voiced, like she seemed more alive, or do you think that didn't necessarily matter for you?
I think, I think so. I think the voice acting for her could have been better, but yeah. I mean, given what we've got, I actually do think, you can actually really hear her anguish. I mean, the piece that you hear in the trailer, so, not a spoiler if you've watched any trailer, when she's just like, everything I've done, it's all for nothing. And, you can tell, like, she really cares about Hyrule finally. She's not just like, I'm the princess and he's bad, so please stop him. Like, she really is very invested, and I think having the voice acting helps. I think the voice acting also helps me to hate Rivali even more because he's a complete asshole.
Oh my god!
But I love to hate him. Yeah. I liked it. I really like the voice acting, and I just want to say thank God they didn't have anyone do the voice acting for Link. That was a very smart move.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever put a voice.
You couldn't.
I don't think you can. Even like Mario, like all the major old characters really don't talk except for Sonic, and you see how he's doing really well right now.
Yeah, look at that new Sonic game. God, fucking damn it.
But what was the question again, Kurt? I'm sorry, I was lost in this conversation.
Well, you're in the beginning of the game. You've still seen some cutscenes or whatever with acting and things like that. Do you think that that's adding to the story, or do you think it's?
I think it. Like kind of agree with Ali, like where it immerses you a little more in a way that you're not just reading text over and over and over again. In a lot of games, it's okay to read text, but I think it's more of like a shorter game where you kind of can make your own characters' voices and stuff like that. But like she said, you can kind of feel these characters, like she said, anguish or anger or peril and stuff like that. And sometimes I can feel for it a little bit more, but again, I'm not that far in the game where I can really say, because I think only like a couple of people have talked to me so far, like physically. And one was a cutscene. One was the beginning before I got to Plateau. The other one was a cutscene saying, Zelda was talking. So I mean, other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. That was a cool idea because like if that came up in text, I don't think I'd feel as excited for to learn more about it. If it was just a text, I think I'd be kind of bummed out.
Matt, why don't you chime in? You said it sucks.
Yeah, I have no idea where you guys are coming from because I think the voice acting is so terrible that it does the exact opposite. Like I'm just like, please shut the fuck up, Zelda. Like you sound so whiny and so prepubescent. Like I don't know if like the audio guy like lost a bet and he had to let like all his like 7-year-old cousins try to voice the game, but like I think the voice acting is some of the worst I've heard. Like in like there's some free-to-play MMOs that have better voice acting than this game.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't agree. It's not the best, but I feel
but
like
it takes me out of the experience.
Yeah.
Like it's a AAA game. You know, you have to compare it to other AAA games. You can't be like, well, let's just compare it to just Zelda games. Like compare it to every other AAA game on the market. And like, I can't think of one game that does worse voice acting than this. Like, there probably is one, but like, it's just probably so bad I don't play it. Like, but this game is just like, I think the voice acting honestly just totally killed it for me. Like, just the story wise, like I'm just like I don't want to hear any of these people talk. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not really a spoiler, but like the stuff that the cooldowns, you know, that you have, like if that makes sense to some of you guys, like for some of your powers, like when they get back up, there's like a audio cue, and it makes me want to kill myself every time because it's the most annoying thing, and it's like why? Like everybody's voice is awful in that game. Like the fish lady. I swear
hers
to
is
God,
scary.
it was the same voice as Zelda. Like it's the same voice. Like it's the same lady. I swear to God, it has to be because it's so identical. It's like they're like, hey, just do this voice, but do it a little bit differently. And like, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. I was gonna go off on a tangent about the fish lady, but I don't even want to talk about that because that's just stupid. Like, why does she like Link? Never mind. I don't want to talk about that.
Get over it. Get over it.
I think Allie has a theory about why the fish lady likes Link. But so for me, as far as the voice acting goes, I think it's adding to the dialogue because the dialogue's a little weak. I'm not sure if it's the voice act. I mean, yes, probably the voice acting is a little bit on the lower end side of quality, but I think it's maybe the dialogue actually. They had to. I don't know. It's a game that's going to be translated in multiple languages, and so I think they kind of went kind of on the easier side of the dialogue, and so they took what would normally be like the text you would read in that adventure and just put voices to it. So like that simple text that you would just kind of read and push A through to kind of get a sense of what this going on in the story, it just now you can hear it. So I don't know. That doesn't necessarily add or take away from what you guys have said, but I think it's a good explanation for
if that's
why
true,
it was.
I think it would make sense. Like if they had to make the dialogue available for everyone. I mean, what's this game rated? I mean, honestly don't know.
E probably E10.
Everyone 10. So yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of have.
I mean, it's 7 languages.
I'm not gonna say bonehead, you know, words and stuff, but yeah, I mean, a 10-year-old has to understand what's going on. So.
Well,
I know. I'm not saying that I'm sticking up for the game, Matt, but I feel like it's got to be some sort of a reason. Unfortunately,
we're gonna fight. Is what's
if it was a mature game, I'm sure we would have an awesome Zelda game. Blood everywhere.
Why don't they
I'd be so
do it? Like,
because they can't. Because it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshine and Rainbows at Nintendo.
Yeah, I guess.
But regardless of the translation into 7 different languages or however many there's going to be, but like I'm really like in my head, I'm thinking that what I'm hearing would be the text I would read from Link to the Past or from, Ocarina of Time or whatever, or, any of those other games where it'd be simple text that I would read. I'd hit A and read some more, hit A. Now I just hear a voice instead of hitting A. That's all.
You wish you could hit A over the voice.
Right. Stop. I just want to read it. Don't talk. Yeah, no. I actually haven't been annoyed by it. I've kind of enjoyed it because it does seem a little bit more cinematic. Quality-wise.
I guess it's just kind of like the problem I have because like just the way I am, I'm so like ADD with games where like I'll play this game and then I'll play this game. So it's like I jump from like a game like a good point about Horizon is like the voice acting is pretty good. Like so I go from Horizon and and I'm like, oh, this dialogue is interesting. The stories they're telling are interesting. The people they paid to do this voice acting actually sound like they give a crap like about their performance. And then I go to Zelda and I'm like, why are you squeaking? Like, why are you doing that? Like every time you talk, like, I don't know. It's just different. I don't know. And maybe if I was a Zelda fan, like you were saying, like, because I'm not like that. Like, I'm not like, oh, this is the text I would read, because that was one of my huge things against Zelda is like, I don't want to read a game. I want to play a game. So like,
and they give it to you and you hate it even more.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Anyway, moving on.
People, yeah. Just move on. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Okay, so those are all the talking points I've had. We're just at about an hour, so do we want to just kind of do an overall summary, or do you guys want to?
Real quick, I want to talk about the speed run. I looked it up on YouTube. Some guy beat it in 53 minutes and 13 seconds without amiibo.
Whoa!
He has a video of him using a new plateau route, which obtains a magnesis before the bombs, a new Hyrule Castle route, which skips having to go through Zelda's bedroom study. Sorry if that's a spoiler. And the use of mighty elixirs to speed up the final boss fight. I will likely improve this run. It is in the English language, and amiibos are not used. So it's beating it. They're beating this game quicker than I think they can beat Skyward Sword. To be honest, I think Skyward Sword is like a 5-hour world record.
Did anybody try to beat Skyward Sword that fast? Oh my god! I feel so sad for those people.
Right?
I don't know how they could have done that, because it took me like 40 hours to beat Skyward Sword. It's a huge game. Actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to watch this maybe later. Maybe if I'm at work, I'll start playing it so I can just see what Ellie's doing. But yeah, it looks like it's under an hour is able to beat this game, and this game is supposed to be larger than Skyrim, which is pretty impressive. Okay,
that's some skill, like combat.
That's crazy.
Skill. That's crazy combat.
Oh
skill.
yeah, he's got to run that multiple times. He has it down. It's not like me not knowing what the hell I'm doing. So yeah,
you should try that. Ryan.
That's my problem. 1 hour is impressive, whether it's amiibo or not. It's still impressive because I died more times than I can care to even talk about when there was no enemies around. So. So yeah, besides drowning, freezing to death, catching on fire.
Super easy to drown. That's one thing that
I'm over it. Anyway, all right, start with you guys. Go ahead and final thoughts.
Since I'm playing Switzerland in this particular podcast, as far as yeah, I'm in the middle. Matt's kind of he thinks it's okay. Allie thinks it's the best thing. I'm kind of right there in the middle. I think it's a great game. I've loved every bit that I've played, the exploration, the RPGs, the cooking, kind of like the managing, the different elements, the way that they've kind of like the new approaches towards the cold and the heat that you used to be able to wear, the different tunics for, different armors. Like they've brought a lot of really cool elements to this game. But I think my biggest drawback is like it doesn't. The only thing that makes it feel like a Zelda game is like the names of the characters, and some of the like talking points. But other than that, it feels like a completely different game. So that's kind of where I'm at on this particular title. I love it. It's fun to play, but it's such a departure from the formulaic Zelda that I've come to love so much that I almost don't consider it Zelda. That's kind of my point.
Allie?
As Kurt said, I think this game's awesome. I think it's fantastic. I agree that it doesn't quite feel like a traditional Zelda. I think the more I play it, the more it does feel like that, as you kind of run into like the whimsical characters that you see in every Zelda game, and some of the sound effects, the names, whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I think that the gameplay is very instinctual and it's very immersive, and you can customize Link so much, and I think like the different temperatures and the weather, and as much as I hate it that it rains every time I need to climb up a large cliff, I can't help but like respect the game, and the game demands your respect. It like if you try to just like dance your way through the game, it'll kick you on your ass, and I kind of love that
Yes.
about it. It's a new challenge, and I think it kind of adds to the gameplay because without enough challenge, if there's so much to explore but no challenge, you're not gonna have that flow that you really need in a game where you're having fun but you're still striving to be better. I think that they found a really great balance. Contrary to popular opinion, I really like the story, and the voice acting was not great. I will admit that, but I think what little story there was, I liked it, and so like I really like the game. I'm mad that I can't repair my favorite weapons, but otherwise, I think they did a surprisingly good job with this game.
Okay. Matt.
Yeah,
Shit on
so
it.
it's because honestly, like, I mean, it's to me, it's because like when I was like, oh, if I had a review, it'd be like a 10 out of 10, and I mean, after playing it more and spending more time with it, like, yeah, it's definitely not a perfect game. So like, I mean, but to me, it's like a solid like 9. You know, like it's a great game. Definitely a game that like is kind of like near and dear to my heart now. It's kind of like one of those games I'll look back and I'll be like, oh, I remember playing that game. You know, like it's super fun. It's definitely a cool experience. I think kind of what Kurt was saying, how it's not the formulaic Zelda experience. I think that's what makes me like it so much, and makes me like be like, oh, this is the like if Matt was to make a Zelda game, this is what it would be. Because it's just open, it's new, it's different, it's different, I guess. Yeah, that's the best thing I can say about it is it's not Zelda, and that's what I think is one of its best points, is it's not Zelda.
Okay. I also feel like this game is it's a good game. Like everyone said, it's not 100% perfect. I feel there's some room for improvement, which maybe an update or two can fix. I know there's supposed to be downloadable content coming, correct? I believe, aren't there expansions and stuff coming? I haven't done any research on them, so I don't know what exactly to expect on the expansions and such. But it's really going to have to bring some new stuff to the game, because right now I'm already overwhelmed, to be honest. Like like my favorite Zelda games are the top-down dungeon item games. Like this just kind of, I was really overwhelmed at the beginning. I was like, what the fuck? Like, look at this map. Like, oh, cool, I'm on a tower. Holy shit, there's like 19 towers. So I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to play this game anymore. Like, I don't have time. But I guess when I'm playing, it's really not that large once you're in the separate areas. It's not that hard to traverse. It's not that hard to kind of figure out where you're going. And there's always paths. There's always people that like kind of, hey, why are you standing here? You got to have a reason. Like, oh, there's a path behind you. Thanks, asshole. Like, it's like cool things like that. But I really do enjoy the game. It's definitely a must buy or a must play. Whether you buy it or rent it and just to try it out and see what Nintendo's kind of working up. But I'm excited to see, because I mean, considering this Zelda's a launch title, it's not a far stretch to say there's going to be another 3D Zelda in the lifespan of the Switch. It's very possible. I mean, you figure it maybe takes about 4 or 5 years to build the game. So, I mean, it's possible. I'm hoping for another 2D one. But at the moment right now, I feel like it's a good game. There's a lot of stuff to do and a lot of like micromanaging stuff if you want to deal with, like Alan mentioned, different outfits. You want to get different armor. You want to make different recipes. You want to find all the damn seeds. You want to find all the, all this shrines and stuff. So there's a lot to do and a little overwhelming if like you super OCD or you want to like be 100% completist. Like, you're going to lose your mind. You probably will. There's no way around it. You're gonna shit your bed. But I think it's good. I think it's a cool game. Like I said, there's a couple of gripes, but I mean, you can have gripes about every game. But overall, looking past it all, it's a good game. I'd like to either buy it or play it if you have one or the other. It's really the only game that I've ever played on the Switch yet, so I think it's a step in the right direction for where they want to go so far. And that's it.
That's
Jazz
it.
hands.
Woo! All right, so that's kind of our Zelda podcast. I think we had a really good discussion. I think it was really great to kind of air our grievances, I guess you could say, for the game. We've been chatting about it since it came out, so it's good to kind of do it in person, so to say, and kind of invite all you folks to kind of check in with us and let us know in the comments below if you want to, if you've got any things that you want to bring up, and we'll chat with you about it. So
yeah, definitely. I have been going around and screenshotting all the sexual innuendos that people have been saying.
article coming.
That I can take the wrong way, and I have like 3 already, and I'm only to like the first village. So I'm sure there's a lot more gold out there that I can find. So if anyone sees them, send them to me. I'll give you credit, and yeah, I'll get it posted. I have some good ones. So actually, let me turn my Switch on. You guys keep talking. I'll tell you which ones I have.
Okay, this will be fantastic.
Yeah.
So while Jason's figuring out how to show us his screenshot,
Oh, I don't gotta figure it out.
Let's just kind of. So I'm at Curteroni. You can follow me on Twitter. Oh, there's Jason.
You can't read it.
Give us a peek, Jason.
So this is in the Journal of Various Worries. It's in the
Oh yes.
the town. It's like the first village you go to. It says, "I hope he comes by and knocks an arrow for me. It's been way too long." By the lonely arrow girl. That's what it is.
I love that diary.
And I'm like,
You
oh,
bet
God
your
bless
ass.
it. And then the other one is when you talk to the chick outside. He goes, "Master Link, you're very close to me right now. And she can't like talk, and she's like, That's a good one. I think that's all I have so far. The other one's a duplicate, so I only have 2. I apologize.
Oh, Jason, just wait until you get to the flamboyantly gay man in the Hateno village.
Oh, I can't wait. That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, get a load of this guy. He has like a pink headband and earring and everything, and he calls himself a stud of stud work.
Oh god.
And he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
You're darn tootin'. Okay, I want that screenshot.
Yep.
Give me that screenshot. We're gonna throw that in there.
So.
Oh yeah, I've got them all.
10 plus, yeah, 10 plus indeed.
All right, GameOctane Nation, you've been tasked with a job.
Finally, a job.
You've been tasked. So let's kind of do a sign off. So I'm at Curteroni at GameOctane. Come follow us at our website GameOctane.com, and we're really hitting it now. We've got a good team going, and we're putting out articles.
Yeah,
so
we got a lot of solid people. You guys can welcome Matt. I don't know if you guys welcomed him in the beginning. I kind of came late. Matt's been kicking some ass. We've been raising the numbers. I mean, followers have been going up on all sides, and subscriptions have been going up. So we have a lot of cool stuff planned. We're gonna get it on paper. We'll probably within the next week or two, and hopefully have some big announcements coming up for everyone. So stay tuned, please.
Yeah, Allie.
You'll find me on GameOctane, Cal Ellie, and on social media at Allie L Johnson.
Allie L Johnson.
Yeah,
Johnson.
I'm not sure what I am. I think it's like 16-bit bear right now on Twitter and stuff.
There's an underscore in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's 16_bit bear. Yeah, that's what it is. But that's me, Matt. But I'm just gonna be hanging around GameOctane right now, hanging with these guys.
Yeah,
Getting in trouble.
Yeah.
We're excited to have Matt. He's brought a lot to the team.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
Matt's
yeah.
a good guy. You guys follow him if you have a chance.
You guys are gonna make me blush. Stop.
Oh, you already are blushing. Oh, you're matching your headphones. It's cute.
Oh, gotcha.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
Those who don't know me, I am Kletzleo. You can find me under that name anywhere on the internet. I've had it forever. Don't spam me, please. But yeah, you can find. If you follow me on Twitter, I have my friend code. I posted like 9 times. You guys can add me on the Switch if you guys want to. I think everyone else has posted as well. But yeah, hit me up. You guys want anything? You guys want to see something different? Let us know. Want to see us try something? Let us know. We're really up for anything. We're looking for cool stuff to do. So let us know. If you guys have an idea that we haven't thought of yet, let us know.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, everybody. We'll see ya.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Peace out.
Bye.